This is VOA News via remote. I'm Diane Roberts. The U.S. is soon expected to officially announce it will send sophisticated air defense missiles to Ukraine. AP Washington correspondent Sagar Magani has our story.
Kyiv has been pleading for Patriot systems to fight off Russian aerial assaults. U.S. officials have said Washington is set to approve the transfer of what would be the most advanced air defense system the West has provided Ukraine. National Security Council spokesman John Kirby would not publicly confirm the deal yesterday, but said more air defenses are a priority.
Because that is the urgent need of the Ukrainians.
Still, experts warn the Patriot system's effectiveness is limited, and it may not be a game changer in the war. It's also unclear just how long it will take U.S. troops to train Ukrainians on using the system. Sagar Magani, Washington.
Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky addressed the European Council Thursday, urging member states to help Ukraine in withstanding Russian aggression. President Zelensky said the upcoming 6 months will be crucial in its conflict with Russia and that strong external support will play a decisive role. He said, quote, "I ask each of the 27 countries of the European Union to decide what specifically you can do to increase the supply of air defense and missile defense systems," end quote. The president said all of these actions will directly save millions of lives. Germany's lower house of parliament passed legislation Thursday worth an estimated 100 billion euros to put the brakes on electricity and gas bills for households and industry starting in January. The package passed by lawmakers also includes a levy on energy producers' excess profits to fund the aid, as well as to promote renewable energy. This is VOA News. Thursday is the final day of the U.S.-Africa Summit in Washington. U.S. President Joe Biden has been participating in the leaders' session on partnering on the African Union's agenda for 2063. This is the continent's strategic framework for inclusive and sustainable development. Wednesday, Mr. Biden told African leaders that the U.S. is, quote, all in on Africa's future, end quote, laying out billions in promised government funding and private investment. Britain faces disruption from widespread industrial action this month as many workers struggling with a cost of living crisis seek pay rises that better reflect double-digit levels of inflation. Strikes are due to take place almost every day for the rest of the month across a range of sectors, including nurses, postal workers, and in the transportation industry. Nurses want a double-digit pay raise. Stephen Barclay is the British Health Secretary.
Asking for a 19% pay rise, way above what most viewers themselves are receiving, is not affordable given the many other economic pressures that we face.
As coronavirus cases rise, the Biden administration is making free COVID-19 tests available once again. AP correspondent Jennifer King reports.
Starting today, the federal government will provide 4 rapid tests to U.S. households that request them through the website covidtests.gov. That's according to a senior official. It's been 3 months since the last batch of free tests went out. COVID-19 cases increased after the Thanksgiving holiday, and there's a winter surge projected as people travel and gather indoors around Christmas and New Year's. Sources say the administration is putting surge teams and equipment on standby just in case hospitals and nursing homes get overwhelmed, but so far there have been no requests. As Americans embrace a return to pre-pandemic activities, the administration has been struggling to convince more people to get the updated booster shots that better protect against the now prevalent Omicron variants. I'm Jennifer King.
Meanwhile, in China, there's concern China's popular Spring Festival could boost COVID cases throughout the country. Here's Yale University public health expert Ji Chen.
The Spring Festival is the time when many parts of China will reach the peak. I'm concerned it could be like a super spreader event.
A 6.2 magnitude earthquake originating in the waters off Taiwan's eastern coast shook the island Wednesday, but no major injuries or damage were immediately reported. Buildings in Taipei shook for about a minute, and the subway briefly paused operations to ensure passenger safety. Via remote, I'm Diane Roberts, VOA News.
And I'm Dan Novak. This is VOA News. I'm Joe Ramsey. Russia launches another major missile attack on Ukraine, AP correspondent Charles de Ledesma reports.
A Ukrainian Air Force spokesman says Russian forces have launched more than 60 missiles into Ukraine in their latest strikes on the country, though some officials report success in downing incoming projectiles. Ukrainian authorities are reporting blasts in at least 4 cities. At least 2 people were killed when a residential building was hit in central Ukraine, while electricity or water services have been interrupted in the 2 largest cities, Kyiv and Kharkiv. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
German police say a huge aquarium in the center of Berlin has burst, causing a wave of devastation in and around the popular tourist attraction. Berlin's fire service said 2 people were slightly injured when 1 million liters of water poured out of the tank shortly before 6 a.m. on Friday. Eva Udensky, a tourist from Israel who'd been staying at the hotel, said she was shocked by the incident.
I thought it's thunders, and then I went to my friend's room, and there is a window there. You can watch the whole aquarium from there, and we see that everything with water and everything is destroyed.
Aquarium operators say the cylindrical tank is the world's biggest and contained more than 1,000 tropical fish before the incident. Berlin's mayor says they couldn't be saved. South Africa's ruling African National Congress Party has started its crucial national conference amid scandal and bitter divisions. President Cyril Ramaphosa opened the conference Friday evening, saying the country's crippling national power cuts and unemployment and corruption will be key issues debated. This is VOA News. Nearly 20 people, including 4 children, were killed when a landslide struck a campsite at a Malaysian farm on Friday, officials said, with rescuers scouring the muddy terrain for those still missing. The director of the State Fire and Rescue Department told reporters the total is 19 people dead and 14 still missing. According to the local government development minister, 61 people so far have been found safe after the pre-dawn landslide just outside the capital, Kuala Lumpur, and near a mountain casino resort. Now that she's returned to the U.S., women's basketball star Brittany Griner says she intends another return. AP Washington correspondent Sagar Magani reports.
In her first public comment since being freed from Russia, Griner says on Instagram she plans to play next season for the WNBA's Phoenix Mercury. It's what women's basketball legend Dawn Staley said last week she hoped to hear.
We want her back in her happy place.
Griner posted, "It feels so good to be home," and thanked everyone for their help in freeing her in a high-level prisoner swap. Sagar Magani, Washington.
North Korea state media reported on Friday the country tested a new missile engine in what experts say could be a turning point in North Korea's development of powerful new ballistic missiles. Reuters correspondent Rachel Judah has more.
The high-thrust solid fuel engine was tested on Thursday under the watchful eye of leader Kim Jong-un, the country's official KCNA news agency reports. North Korea, which has been working to build more solid fuel missiles, has said it was the first of its kind in the country. Solid fuel missiles are more stable and can be launched with almost no warning or preparation time. North Korea has concluded an unprecedented number of missile tests this year, including an ICBM capable of reaching the US mainland, despite international bans and sanctions.
A United Nations official has warned that more than 25,000 people could face starvation in conflict-plagued parts of West Africa next year. The official from the World Food Program said violence and the economic fallout of the COVID-19 pandemic and the war in Ukraine are largely driving the threat to people in Nigeria, Mali, and Burkina Faso. He said Friday that nearly 80% of people facing catastrophic hunger, some 20,000, are in Burkina Faso's Sahel region. The UN said this week that climate change, severe floods, and droughts have compounded the humanitarian crisis. Find more at voanews.com. I'm Joe Ramsey, VOA News.